Hey everybody, my name is Scary Spikes and welcome to another Star Citizen video. We are on the beautiful, the majestic Anvil Aerospace Carrack Expedition Edition with the 2950 IAE livery. Whew, that's a mouthful. Today we're going to be doing a front-to-back, beginning-to-end, beginner-friendly trading guide, and I know what you're thinking, beginner-friendly? Wait a minute, aren't you on a $600 ship? Yes, but the principles that we're going to be teaching you today are going to be applicable to every kind of ship, from a Cutlass Black all the way to an M2 Hercules. So feel free to sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink in not that particular order, put your feet up and enjoy the video as we explore all the different ways that you can make money with trading in Star Citizen 3.15. And of course, before we get started, we do need to thank one of our VIP Gold contributors, and who better to thank this week than, of course, Mr. Roland AC. He has been a big contributor and also very close friend of myself and the channel and Discord as a whole. Want to thank him for coming back in a big way last week, welcome him back, and of course also thank him for being a VIP Gold contributor. So Roland, thank you so much, brother, for your friendship and for your support. It very much means a lot to me. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this video. Alright, so the very first thing you'll want to do, of course, is to go ahead and pick a ship for yourself to trade in, and that could be anything as small as an Avenger Titan all the way up to as big as a C2 Hercules. It's really up to you, but all of these principles will cover a lot of the same mechanics for all of those ships, so don't worry if you have something a little smaller or if you're just getting started. Now we're going to cut back to the Carrack really quickly here after departing the Faithful Dream Station at Her L2, because this is going to be the first of a few Carrack specific tips that I want to give you guys, as with the first video. So if you haven't seen that first video, this little tidbit will definitely help you out. So as you can see, we definitely have some improvements here from the latest patch in the med bay, but what's really cool is we don't have to lay down on the bed to register ourselves, and you will definitely want to register yourself for reasons that I'm about to go over. Head over to the wall here and hold F and press left mouse button. It's going to access the information here inside the flight computer on board, and then of course you want to click on this center button and just make sure that the Carrack is over on the left hand side where it says current regen location. Now the Carrack may be over on the right hand side for you, and if that is the case, simply click the button down here that says well, it won't say reset location for you, it'll probably say set location, and then if you click on that and click confirm on the dialog box, it should move the Carrack over now to your current regen location, and this simply means that if anything unfortunate were to happen to you, you will respawn on your Carrack. Now the other thing that I'm going to tell you really quickly, and really this kind of goes along with any other ship that you might be flying, and for anybody else, not just Carrack owners, but never ever do what I'm doing right here, and that is wearing a very specific or specialized or even exclusive outfit or spacesuit. The reason why is because if you ever blow your ship up, or if anyone blows it up for you, or if you ever have to backspace to get back on your Carrack, you are going to lose this outfit. And if it's something that's attributed onto your account from maybe being concierge or anything else, then you're going to lose that permanently up until the point where you do a character reset, which of course nobody likes. So make sure that you only fly in something that you are willing to lose, something like a basic flight suit. And I would definitely recommend you guys putting some of that in your ship inventory. More on that in a different video to come in the future, so keep your eyes out for that. But for now, just make sure that you are registered on your Carrack if you happen to own one, and that you are in a spacesuit that is going to be okay for you to lose. Other than that, you are good to go. We can go ahead and get into our pilot seat here and start plotting our route to go to our favorite trading location. So once you've got your ship, the next step is going to be to choose a place to trade. Of course, there's quite a lot to choose from here, and trade is really just on the up and up now, as it was dead for quite some time. I think about a year or so, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's definitely a few places that you can sell your goods and a few places where you can buy them. Predominantly, the one that we're going to be focusing on today will be the HDMS station, specifically the one on Ariel. Just so you know, there are business centers on Microtech, in Orison on Crusader, of course at Area 18 in ArcCorp, and Lorville on Hurston, which is the main subsystem that we'll be working out today. Never mind the journal entry updated commodity price alerts. We may make a video on this separately, but this is not what we're talking about in today's video. We're going to go ahead and zoom in and head over to Ariel, and we're going to go over to my favorite station, which is the ground station HDMS Bezdek. set route, and we'll be en route. Just a little disclaimer though before we get going, this is a very, very popular place, and not only because it is a central location sort of right between a lot of the major planets here, the major subsystems, but also because a lot more people are discovering that trade is viable again to a degree in 3.15. So you might face some stiff giggity competition, and you'll want to keep an eye out for other stations that you can go to. Of course, also use the SC Trade Tools app or any other apps that you might find online to help you find alternative routes if that happens. All right, so we're good to go. Go ahead and close the mobiGlas with F2 here, and we'll make our way over to Ariel. I'll see you guys there. We'll cut out the travel time so as to make the video a little bit less lengthy. See you there. Okay, so we've landed safely at Bezdek, and one of the very first things that you want to do is make sure that, especially if you're in a larger ship, you give yourself a lot of space around your ingress and egress points so that you can safely enter and exit your ship. You also want to have a look around and make sure that there's nobody laying in wait to enter your ship before you get a chance to actually pack it up and secure it as you go and pick up your cargo. The other thing that you're looking for is this right here. You're looking for the building with the orange antenna on it, like the one seen here. You can simply enter that building and go ahead and purchase your items. And once you're done, simply head back to your ship and go ahead and sell them at your local business district, wherever that happens to be. So let's go ahead and depart. But before we do that, one thing that you definitely have to remember is to turn off your engines. Turning off your engines removes the possibility of your ship being flipped over, damaged, and possibly even destroyed by weather events, as they can contribute to those things happening. So always make sure that you keep your power on so as to keep your shields running, but to turn your engines off so as not to have weather influence moving your ship in any way while you're inside taking care of buying all the commodities. All right, let's go ahead and head inside and pick up some goods. If you haven't seen the very first trading video that I did, then this might be very useful to you if you own a Carrack. If you have seen it, well, it's pretty much more the same thing because this issue still hasn't been fixed, and it's been quite some time since then. So let's go ahead and take the central elevator of the Carrack down to the subdeck. That's the lowest deck available in the Carrack. But as enticing as it looks to go through this door, we're going to go through this one. And just like that, even though you do take a little bit of a risk of damage when you're in a low gravity situation like this, there's really not that high of a risk. There might be some injury that you do sustain coming out of the belly of the ship like that, but this allows you to exit the ship without ever exposing yourself to intruders by having to open the front door to do so. And so by doing so, you can get out of your ship safely and not allow anyone to go back in. Let's go ahead and grab some commodities, and then we'll be ready to sell. Alright, so when you're ready to pick up some commodities, the first thing that you need to do is interact with the trading and shipping console here. Simply hold F on your keyboard and left mouse click anywhere in the vicinity of the screen, and you should see something similar to this. Now, you may not see the commodities themselves until you pick a ship, but we'll get there. First things first, as with any console that you interact with, you're going to see the name of it in the top left-hand corner. You're going to see the types of actions that you can do. So, for example, in this case, we are on the Buy tab, and then there's also a Sell tab, although I don't know exactly what you'd be selling to this particular console. I mostly just buy from here. In any case, then there's also the Alpha UEC on the top right-hand corner, followed by the X, which you can use to simply get out of the interaction and abort your transaction with the console. Going back into the console, we can see that on the left-hand side, we have a drop-down list with the number of eligible ships and the number of SCU standard cargo units that they can accommodate with respect to our commodities. So for now, we just have the Anvil Carrack. We'll go ahead and select that. And then there's some more information about the total cargo capacity and the empty cargo that we have, as well as the number of cargo that we have on board. And this includes any kind of illegal cargo as well. So keep that in mind. If you do have illegal cargo, you will not be able to safely enter any legal station. Very, very likely that you'll need to take this to Grimhex or another illicit location to trade those goods. So maybe we'll make a video on that sometime in the future. But for now, we're not buying or selling any illegal cargo. It's just going to be Lyronite and Titanium. And speaking of cargo, here it is. These are all of the different types of items that you can purchase here at Bezdek. We're going to be focusing on mostly Lyronite and Titanium, but I'm going to recommend two different ways of purchasing these depending on whether you have all of the money in the world and you have a big ship and you're going by volume, or whether you have a small ship and a small amount of money with a relatively small cargo space. So you'll always want to fill up your cargo space to make sure that you are running as efficiently as possible. Now, you might not make as much money per unit if you're running Laranite, for example, as compared to titanium, but if you have a Cutlass Black, for example, and you can afford a full hold of titanium, then you should definitely do that over only getting a few units of Laranite, because you'll make more money in the short term with this, and eventually you'll build up the capital to be able to fill up your entire ship with Laranite, which you'll make a lot more money per unit on. I know that seems a little bit confusing, but all you need to do is click on the item that you'd like to buy. So in this case, if you are a smaller ship and you want to fill up your cargo without paying too much money, titanium is the way to go. And then once you've clicked on that, simply drag this bar to the number of units that you want to purchase. Now, of course, we have a total of 456 units available. We're not going to be doing that because I have a Carrack and I can afford, at least in the PTU for now, to buy a bunch of Laranite, as much as is available. But you'll want to do this, simply drag as much as you want, and then you'll start to see either inventory or destination full, or you're going to see insufficient credits. So those are going to be the two main reasons why you won't be able to fill up. It's either it's going to be too expensive for you, or there's going to be a limited supply, or your inventory on your ship is going to be full. So one of those three things. But for me, I'm going to go ahead with the Laranite, and what's really cool is that even though I know I'm not going to be able to get a full load of Laranite, so in this case I'm only able to get about 53 SCU, so that tells me that there was somebody here before me. So I'll go ahead and purchase that, and click on confirm, and now we've got this 53 SCU of Laranite loaded onto the ship. Now I have a choice. I can stay here and I can wait for a server tick, which is usually about 5 or 6 minutes, unless that's something that's changed. Let me know if it's different in the comments below. But generally, a server tick is when the server updates things, and that includes the commodities. So the commodities will refresh over time, and you have the choice of either waiting here and waiting for these commodities to be restocked, or you can simply pick up other commodities and put them in your cargo hold along the other commodities that you purchased. So in this case, I'm not going to wait for the Laranite. I'm going to go ahead and buy titanium. I'm going to go ahead and drag that all the way over, and as you can see, the inventory is now full, and there's 404 SCU of titanium that we can grab. So we're going to go ahead and purchase this, and you'll notice as we do that, our overall UEC is going to go down as we have invested that amount into the actual ship. Now here's something else that you can do, and this is going to be, again, a little bit more suited to Carrack owners. If you happen to go back into your ship and you notice that there are people hanging around the front of your ship, keep in mind, there's only one way to get onto a Carrack, right? It's going to be right through the front here. So if you're not able to get into your ship without exposing it to other people, there is another way to do it, although it's a little risky. So let's say there's somebody running around here and you don't want to give them the chance to enter your ship so that they can then put a bullet in your head when you're out of the armistice zone, and you have registered yourself on the medical bay in the Carrack. You can simply backspace, and if everything works well, you should wake up on the Carrack. Alright, so here we are, and it looks like we're on our Carrack, so that ended up working. And of course, what I mentioned earlier is you want to be very careful to only do this in emergency situations where you're gonna stand to lose the cargo anyway, so you might as well take a chance. Of course, you want to make sure that you have registered yourself into your Carrack, and also keep in mind that you will be losing your gear, so it's a good idea to not trade in anything, as I mentioned before, that you're not willing to lose. But that being said, if you can pull this off, and if you're in an emergency situation where you need to get back on your ship without exposing it to people that can board it, then not only are you saving your cargo, but you're also saving a bunch of time and grief in the process. So it might be something that can help you, and honestly, this is why I still think to this day that the Carrack is one of the best ships to do trading in, despite the fact that it's an expeditionary ship. So now it's time to go back to the station. In this case, it's going to be Lorville. We're going to head over to the Central Business District and sell all the stuff that we bought. See you there. If you work out of Hurston like I do, then you'll know that as soon as you get to the spaceport, your trip is still not done. You need to go ahead and take yourself over by transit, down the Green Commerce line here, all the way to Central Station, which houses the Central Business District. That's where all the terminals are that you'll be able to sell everything that you brought in. Now, a lot of people will tell you that this is an extraordinarily long trip and it takes forever, but what they probably don't know is that it's very similar no matter what planet you're on. All of Microtech, Crusader, and ArcCorp have a point from which you have to travel to which you have to get to in order to sell your items, and in this case, it's no different here on Hurston. If you see the sign, you might notice it by name or maybe by color. That's Metro Center, and that's going to take you back to the residences, the place where you spawn if you choose Lorville as your residence. But in this case, we want to go from Tisa Spaceport down the Commerce Line, and so we're going to go and follow the green Commerce Line signs to the Central Business District. Once you get to Central Station, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is run up into the main building, which you'll see flanked by a couple of Hurston statues here. And as soon as you go in, you'll want to keep to your left to get up to the terminals in the Central Business District Commerce area. We have a couple of staircases here to go up, and it's important to note that if you want to go to the right instead of the left, it will take you to the Hurston Dynamics shop, where you're able to buy a number of different Hurston Dynamics branded gear. We're going to go up the left stairwell here, or the left staircase rather, and we're going to go to this area through here. And after a little bit of a run, we'll finally get to the Commerce Center here inside the Central Business District. You can go on either the left or the right side. It doesn't really matter. I like to go all the way to the end here because this terminal doesn't happen to have any kind of glare. And this is pretty cool. They actually added another screen to the top here, which is really interesting. I haven't seen this before, so this is nice to see that they've made some changes to here. You're going to go ahead and access this console in the same way that we accessed the console when we were purchasing the commodities. In this case, we're going to go ahead and select Sell from the top menu, and then we'll go ahead and select our vehicle. As we can see here, we have our Carrack, and the Carrack has a number of Laranite and Titanium. And in order to sell these, it'll be the same as buying them, with the exception that when you click on any of these commodities, the full amount will already be selected for you. Of course, you can adjust this if you want to sell less. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but that option is available for you if you want. Simply click this button here and then go ahead and confirm with got it, and you should be able to sell your items no problem. And there you go. We got a nice healthy little profit. We're going to do the same thing for Titanium. Go ahead and click the confirm buttons here, and then we are good to go. Perfect. So there you go. We've made a little bit of money, and of course you can go ahead and continue to repeat this as often as time and patience and perhaps even 30Ks will allow, and of course also the competitiveness of anyone else that might be trading. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful in some way. And if you did, please let me and YouTube know by leaving a like, subscribing if you're new, and ringing that bell so that you don't miss any future uploads, as I upload videos weekly. You can also join us on stream Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch, as well as our amazing Discord community and organization. Links for those can be found down below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.